Hello and welcome to this BioProcess International Ask the Expert webcast. I'm your host, Leah Rosen, the online editor for BioProcess International. Before we get started, just a couple of notes. This webcast is being recorded and will be made available for replay in the multimedia section of our website. We've muted the audio lines, but we welcome you to type in your questions for our speaker in the chat window on your screen. After the presentation, we will begin the question and answer portion, and I will ask our speaker your questions from the chat window. Your questions in the chat window will only be visible to myself and our speaker. So thank you for joining us again today. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Serena Fries-Smith from Thermo Fisher Scientific.
Thank you. Hello. Today I will be talking about advantages in feed solutions and how we at Thermo Fisher Scientific are taking medium and feed development beyond maximizing protein titers to optimizing glycan distribution and simplifying process scale-up. I will start by discussing some industry trends and then about how leveraging feed designs and feeding strategies can optimize glycosylation, simplify scale-up of a fed batch process, and also give your titers a boost. Finally, I will discuss how these advancements can be modified to meet the needs of your specific product and process. So it's not surprising that industry trends have shown an increase in titer over the last 30 years. But still, let's take a minute to see how far we've come. In 1994, the average industry titer was 0.5 gram per liter. And there was a lot of pressure to increase this in order to make a more economical product. In part, due to improvements in medium and feed, titers increased to 1.3 grams per liter in 2004. And in 2014 reached 2.5 grams per liter. That's a 5-fold increase in the last 20 years. And what's more exciting is some processes are reporting up to 7 grams per liter. So where do we go from here? Do we continue to focus on maximizing titer, or do we begin to focus on some other industry challenges? At Thermo Fisher, we've started to tackle those other industry challenges. We've developed breakthrough feed formulations that can modulate glycosylation. Those are our Glycan-tuned total feeds. And through our advanced granulation technology, or ATT, we've been able to simplify the process of dealing with dry format media and improve the nutrient delivery to the cells to aid in process scale-up. First, to discuss glycosylation. We are all aware of the importance of measuring and characterizing glycosylation of proteins. But why would we be interested in tweaking this quality attribute and targeting a specific glycan distribution? Well, this becomes critically important if you need to match a reported glycan distribution for a product. 2 examples of this are when transitioning to a new clone used in an existing process, or when you are creating a biosimilar and you need to match the innovator's profile. Another application is when you want to target a specific glycan pattern to optimize the efficacy of the molecule you're making. Because the applications discussed on the previous slide, not one glycan pattern is better than another for all products. What we have shown in this slide is that you can take a clone. And if we look at number 1 here, so each of these profiles are with the same clone. And you can take a clone in the process described in number 1 that's making roughly 90% G0F. And just by adjusting some critical components in the feed, we can shift that pattern all the way down to a profile that's shown in number 12 here, with only 35% G0F. And by changing the concentrations of these components and the time they're introduced into the culture, you can target any of these patterns to meet the needs for your specific product. So now I'm going to shift gears from the feed formulation to the feed format and discuss how the feed formats can help simplify processing. As mentioned, the Advanced Granulation Technology, or AGT, will simplify working with dry formats and reduce the risk of formulation errors. Additionally, through innovations in feed manufacturing, we've developed solutions that can be super concentrated, allowing for more efficient use of bioreactors. This slide depicts how the super concentrated feeds can make better use of the available working volume of your bioreactor. In a traditional fed batch process, you may add 30% or more of a nutrient feed. By using a feed that can be concentrated 3x, the feeding volume decreases to less than 10%. And still allows you to deliver the same amount of nutrients to your cells. By reducing the amount of volume that is added through the feed, the initial bioreactor working volume can be increased. Additionally, this will minimize the volume change in your bioreactor, resulting in less dilution of the product and more efficient control of the bioreactor. The schematic shown here highlights how using ATT format can reduce errors through simplification. In a simple two-part complex feed, you may have up to 16 process steps, including multiple pH and osmo adjustment steps. In a dry powder one-part feed, you may still have up to 10 process steps, also including pH and osmo adjustments. But with an AGT format, there are only 6 steps and no need for pH or osmo adjustments. So not only does this reduce the opportunity for error, it also reduces the need to manage additional raw materials for those feed adjustments. And to make it even more enticing, the GIVCO Efficient Feed Plus products are stable at room temperature for 30 days after reconstitution. This reduces the amount of times materials need to be transported from cold rooms into production areas and reduces the frequency of feed preparation. I talked a lot about how this technology will simplify your process, but at the end of the day, we still care about performance and Titer. Here I'm showing 2 applications of the super concentrated Efficient Feed Plus products. On the left, we're comparing a standard feed, Efficient Feed B, added at 13.3% volume, to a 3x Efficient Feed B Plus product, also set at 13.3% volume. So increasing the nutrients without adding any additional volume to the bioreactor resulted in a 2-fold increase in Titer. On the right is a comparison of the Efficient Feed A Plus product, which can be used at 1x, 2x, or 3x. In this example, we fed less as we concentrated the feed, essentially feeding the same amount of nutrients without increasing the volume. And in this example, we saw roughly a 35% increase in Titer from the 1x to the 3x, due largely to minimizing the dilution effect. To wrap things up, I want to go back and remind you that the advantages that Thermo Fisher has made in the medium and feed technology are not only available as catalog products. These same technological advances can be applied to custom solutions to meet the specific business and technical needs for our customers. I've listed some of those examples on this slide, and one of which is the opportunity to convert your existing proprietary media and feed from a liquid or a standard dry format to an easier to use and easier to scale up AGT format. To learn more about what I discussed today or about developing custom solutions for your process, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is serena.smith@thermofisher.com. And now I can take any questions.
Thank you, Serena. So if you already have an established batch process, how can this help with glycosylation?
So if you already have an established process, so I assume you already have a medium and feed that you're using in your process. So I'm going to go back to this slide. What I showed here, which is showing the modulation of the glycosylation, was using our catalog products. So we have our Efficient Feed Plus products and then the Glycan Tune Plus products. And we were able to modulate glycosylation by switching from Efficient Feed C+, for example, into Glycan Tune C+ at different parts of the process. So when we made the switch right in the very beginning, we got the most reduction in G0F, and when we made the switch later in the process, which are these conditions, we got less reduction of G0F. If you already have a medium and feed that you're using, you can use the same concept where you would take the feed solution that you're currently using in your process and you would switch it out for our Glycan Tune feed. We have the Glycan Tune available in 3 different formulations, the Glycan Tune A+, the Glycan Tune B+, and the Glycan Tune C+. And I would recommend looking at all 3 of those and identifying the one that works the best for your system and complements the feed that you're currently using, and then you will see the same type of change in your glycosylation pattern.
Okay, and we have a question wondering about the hydrated 3X FB feed and if it's stable for a month at room temperature, or how stable is it?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks for bringing that up. So for I'll go back to the slide. So for the 3 Efficient Feed Plus products as well as the Glycan Tune Plus products, they can be concentrated. So A plus and B plus can be concentrated up to 3x. C plus can be concentrated up to 2x. And at any concentration up to that maximum concentration, they're stable at room temperature for 30 days. So it's a long answer, but the answer is yes.
And have these feed solutions ever been used with the perfusion bioreactor systems, to your knowledge?
Yeah, actually we have a number of customers that are using the feeds in perfusion, typically not as a sole perfusion medium, but in combination with one of our other products. For example, you might have somebody who's using Dynamis, like 70% Dynamis and 30% Efficient Feed C+, and using that as their perfusion medium. And yeah.
Okay, and let me see if I can get this question. So from which expression system are you generating these data, CHO, HEK, etc., and what kind of protein are you working on, slide 6?
All right, I'll go back to slide 6 again. So this data was all generated using a CHO cell line producing an antibody. We have customers that have also evaluated the Glycan Tune products for non-antibody proteins and do see some changes in the glycosylation pattern. So if it's something that you're interested in using, either CHO for a non-antibody protein or even in a HEK 293 cell for protein production, you can certainly use these products, and then I would just recommend doing screening experiments to really hone in and determine the best approach to move forward with to help meet your goals. And part of my job is to work with customers and help design some of those initial experiments based on what we've done in-house and conversations with other customers, and help establish the experiment for you so that you can get to something that's going to work as quickly as possible. So feel free again to reach out to me and I can help support that.
Okay, so I'll get your contact information back up there so anyone can follow up with you. And thank you very much, Serena, and thank you to our audience for joining us.
Okay, great. Well, thank you.
So the recorded version of this webcast will be available for on-demand viewing on our website, and a registered attendee, you will receive a follow-up email providing you with a direct link. We look forward to having you join us at our future BioProcess International Expert webcasts. We have a full lineup covering many aspects of bioprocessing scheduled for the duration of the year. Look for those announcements in your inbox. Thank you so much.